And today's kind of a special day for me. It's actually been 6 years this month that I really engaged with what I do. And today I'm really excited because I actually have the founder of my company's daughter, Nancy Thunell, with me here to do an event in Spokane. And we were just talking and reminiscing about the good old days, but I wanted to share with you the story of why Deni Robinson, fell in love and my heart went on fire to share this incredible technology. And so, again, with her being the daughter, she's going to tell you the story of her father and Asea. So this is going to be a really great little time. So Nancy, over to you.
Thanks, Deni. It's really a privilege to be up here in her beautiful home and spend this time with her and reminisce. It's been 8 years for me since I started this endeavor. And I was very successful in the art world and the real estate world prior to coming to Asea. And I remember my father finding this technology and getting so excited about it. As a matter of fact, he said to me one time, Nancy, I've spent my entire business career looking for something of this value that would have this impact and magnitude globally. And it was very intriguing for all of us to understand that this was a new frontier of science and that it had the ability to enable a body to heal from the inside out. And it didn't light up for me and become this passion, purpose-filled, driven endeavor until I shared it with other people. And I moved too fast, maybe 100 miles an hour most of the time, and I'm not very in tune with little tweaks in my body. And yet I had such unwavering belief in what they had found and where this was going in a global company, household name, that I was convinced and started to share this with people I loved and cared about. And my father asked me very early on if I knew any atomic physicists, and I honestly laughed out loud and said, yeah, Dad, I run with artists. And I moved into a house very close to where my parents live now and introduced myself to a new gal. It was my neighbor, and her name was Iris. And I said, Iris, what does your husband do? And she said, oh, he's an atomic physicist. And I honestly couldn't speak. My mouth had dropped open, and I honestly couldn't talk. And I thought, you know, there is divine intervention that leads us to connections that prove to be so valuable to this planet that it changed everything then. When we started sharing this product at the same time that we were being courted by this pharmaceutical company, and people were having these profound experiences to the point where I would call Dad and we would have a could it be the water competition. He would call and say, you know, people would say, Nancy,
amazing.
I'm feeling so much better. Yeah. Could it be the water? And we'd go back and forth and have this kind of running log of things that were really impacting people's lives. And before you know it, you think, what's my role? What's my responsibility in this? Why me? Why now? And you come to understand that it's on purpose. And when you live on purpose and you start to recognize that your higher self connects with your human self and you live in that place of being on purpose, things start to change. And in the early days, they said, who wants to be first? And nobody wanted the job. Yeah. And I, of course, wanted the job and thought someone who's brilliant is going to come along and teach me how to do this better. And I thought, you know, all it took was a desire to engage. That was it. And as we shared this product and watched these profound changes, a good friend of mine, Anna D'Agostini, she did an early video for Asea, and she came back to me the next day and she said, oh, Nancy, I've done you such an injustice. And I said, how? How could you even think that? And she said, I said that Asea gave me my life back, but I didn't tell them what that meant to me.
Interesting.
I was a mom again.
Amazing.
I got my company back. I got my health back. I could get out of bed. And she cried that day saying, I did you a real injustice that I didn't say what it really meant to have my life back. And you know, when you find something that has that kind of profound effect on people and recognize that it's divine purpose, that we're supposed to be here, we have a role and responsibility to play in this. If we accept it, we can share truth and really change lives. And it's an extraordinary thing.
Absolutely. You know, many of you don't know actually who her father was. And can you kind of tell them a little bit of his credentials of who he was before he ever started, you know, talking about salt water from Salt Lake City?
Sure. My father, Verdis Norton, was a bigwig in America, in corporate America, I should say. Harvard Business School did case studies on what my dad did in
Wow.
corporate America to reorganize and structure companies in a more efficient way to reach an objective. So he would come in and he would define the objective, and then he'd kind of reverse engineer it to figure out the action plans and the specific steps that would get you closer with very clear focus on the objective. And it was usually a 3-year plan, and you would reverse engineer it. What am I going to do in the first 4 quarters and this next year, biannually, and then my objective is going to be met. And so in the early days of Asea, my goal was to have 100 gold executives in my organization because I knew I could hit triple
Those
diamond.
kind of goals.
And we did it.
And so your father certainly didn't come out of retirement to run this company at what, age 69?
No, do you know what was a business play became a mission to change the world? The impact of this was far greater than we ever dreamed. And then there came this kind of epiphany of stewardship. And the founders knew that they were the stewards to create this platform to begin and for it to grow where it is today. They never intended to be here for decades. It was they needed to bring their expertise forward and enable this company to find strength and find enough of the testimonials and the professionals in the industry to come to this and recognize the global vision and what this could do for the planet.
And really, what was your father's vision? What was it always?
He absolutely knew that this would be a household name globally.
Wow.
So his vision was to take Asea completely worldwide, which we're well on our way.
Gosh, we're now operating in 30 countries, everyone.
30 countries and post-risk and pre-growth. So it's a perfect time to come into this as we have kind of gone through the stages where we're now searching for and building the right kind of momentum to have this globally affect millions and millions of people. He never doubted the technology or his capacity to orchestrate the foundation. Never once. None of us did. Even in our, hair on fire and a little too enthusiastic and not enough systems or processes in place, we never doubted. I still to this very day never have a moment of doubt in what this is capable of doing and what it's capable of doing financially for people globally.
Absolutely. And we've both just seen miracles. And literally, we've been around the world together,
We
different
really
places.
have. We really have.
Nancy, one of my favorite times is I've been with your father before, and I asked him, Verdis, why are you doing this? He's now 77. And, he grabbed my hand and said, Deni, I've often thought about that. Because of his success in his corporate life, he'd already left his family a fortune. And he said, now I'm going to leave the world a legacy. And it's always been, when I heard that, I'm like, I can get behind this because the more people I shared Asea with, literally the more miracles that I saw. And for someone with my education level, which is a PhD, a public high school diploma, and 2 years of college, financially we've been able to create something that I never dreamed possible. But more than that is that I can help other people create the life of their dreams as well. And the only way that happens is by sharing this incredible gift with other people. And I have become addicted to the stories that you and I have been talking about because people have results with this product. Things change. And even though we all drink the same Asea, different things manifest themselves in the body. And of course, you've heard stories from everywhere as well. And I know that your father has a huge treasure chest at home too, right?
He really does. It's the relationships that have become far more valuable than the payout or the gain.
Right.
It is something that is at our core, changing internal conversations where it's, how might I serve you?
How might I serve you?
How might I do something
Right.
in my space that we could collaborate and work together and achieve your dreams? And it's not a me, I, it's a we. And I think that that's really important. And when we can, create that kind of global change, just in that simple way of extending a hand of service to someone else, it's an extraordinary thing. It is noble, and I think that we all need to realize our role and responsibility in it and really love it and get back to where I'm completely engaged with it and, loving it.
Well, everyone, I sure love it, and my heart has been on fire the last few years, again, sharing this gift. And so many of you have often asked, Deni, what is it that you do? And if you'd like to know more, shoot me a message. And I actually have Nancy in Spokane doing a big event this week, and I'm going to be taking her to some other events around the country as well. If you liked what you saw, make sure to like, share, or comment, because you're going to see more from this woman this weekend on Facebook Live, because I have loved having her with us. So everyone, have a great rest of the day. Thanks for joining us.
I'll see you later.
Bye, everyone.